Well, good morning, everybody. And yeah, we're going to do one verse today. And it's probably going to take us a few days to finish up the rest of the book of Genesis because we're on the book of Genesis. Ha! The rest of chapter 2. Because we're hitting like the nitty gritty, the stuff that it's where the rubber meets the road. It's where this book of Genesis really gives us some application that's needed in your life, that's needed in my life, and it's really needed in the world today. So, my friends, as you join in, it's good to see you. Thanks for saying hi and click share because people need to know. So, I already titled today's message. Maybe I'll change the title if it needs to be changed, but thus far, gender roles. Genesis chapter 2, verse 18. And the Lord said, "It is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helper comparable to him." So there we go. Now I could just end the study right now. Really simple, right? Women, you're the dude's helper. Call it a day. Shut the Bible. Boom. Done. But there's a lot more to it. Well, a whole lot more. But it's not necessarily popular today to speak like this, to speak of these things in this way. But what's cool is that it's biblical, therefore it's holy. What we're going to talk about today is holy, because God made it to be holy, special, set apart, consecrated. And therefore, if we embrace that which is true and that which is holy, there's going to be blessings that come with it. So, Yahweh God says it's not good that man should be alone. Now, I'm just going to go on a limb here, and I'm going to say that God also thinks it's not good that woman should be alone. That ultimately, he designed us to find someone, to be together with them, and to have children, to be fruitful and multiply. It says in Proverbs 18:22, "He who finds a wife finds a good thing, and she who finds a husband finds a good thing too." Again, quite often the Bible, the inverses are always true. It may only say it one way, but you can flip it, and it's just as equally as true. It's an implied truth. When it states the explicit truth, we have an implied truth that trails along behind it. Now, that said, Paul the Apostle is someone whom we have strong reason to believe was married. He was a member of the Sanhedrin, and you had to be married to be on the Sanhedrin. So we have very strong reason to believe that Paul the Apostle was married. And yet, he wasn't married after he started writing his epistles. He was single. By the time of 1 Corinthians, we know that he was single. And so it seems as if, he was married for a season. Why did his wife and him separate ways? Well, she could have died. She could have left him when he got converted. And that's a really strong possibility. And when he gives the Corinthians that letter in chapter 7, when he says, if the unbeliever departs, there's nothing you can do about it. And if a marriage ends, well, you're single now. What did Paul do? Well, Paul, we don't know of any physical children he had, but he had a whole lot of spiritual children. And so even though he who finds a wife finds a good thing, Paul didn't spend the rest of his life trying to find a spouse. He served the Lord. And so that's a good reminder for us too, that, some people, as Paul said, I wish you guys were like me, where you could just give 110% to God. Maybe that's where God will put you. Maybe that's where God has put you, that you can give 110% to God because you don't have a spouse, your kids are out of the house, however it goes, you have nothing holding you back from giving your whole life to Jesus. And every day just waking up and saying, how can I serve you today, Lord? Maybe I'm going to do this for you. Maybe I'm going to do that for you. Maybe I'm just going to spend some time with you or tell others about you or help others, in their journey to get closer to you. So I will say this is that some people get a little lonely and get a little desperate, and then they think, oh, God must want me to be alone forever. And that's not necessarily the case, but it could be. So just pray about it. You just keep serving him. And if there's a spouse in mind for you, God will bring the person around. And if not, man, you get to spend all your time with Jesus and serving Jesus, loving Jesus, and serving his kids. So that's a privilege. But now God says, that was a long time to get to the second half. That's the big part. I will make him a helper comparable to him. Now, I think something that's really important for us to understand is when we go to the New Testament parallel to this, we get to the book of Ephesians chapter 5. And the latter half of that book, it's where it says, wives, be submissive to your husbands as unto the Lord, right? There's this idea there. And husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church. And here's this idea of love and respect, or love and submission. And then near the bottom, it says, now I speak of a mystery, something that we didn't understand in the past, but now God is revealing it to us. And it is the idea. Okay. Thank you, Hannah. I don't know what Hannah's saying, but she stopped and interrupted for this. Okay, off you go. She had a really important announcement, but I can't understand her. Anyway, where was I, right? So this mystery, right? This mystery, it's that from creation, from the very beginning, from here in Genesis 2:18, where God made a helper comparable to him, God says, this is supposed to be symbolic of Christ and the church. And there's supposed to be a picture here of Christ loving the church, sacrificing his life for the church, coming to serve and serve. I mean, he gave everything for the church. He gave everything for his bride. And what was the bride asked to do? What are we asked to do in return? We're asked to love him, respect him, submit to him. And so it's not that, hey, look, marriage is coincidentally this amazing picture of Christ in the church. God says, no, you don't understand. I made man and woman to be a picture of the church. 1 second. You're a goofball. Thank you. She helped us by turning off the lights. So anyway, think of this, that God made Adam and Eve to be a picture of the church. It's not that, oh, wow, look at how convenient. There was an example that works so well. No, it's seriously that from the beginning, from the garden, God says, I'm going to make mankind and womankind. And when the two come together to become one flesh and one unit in one household, this was designed to be a picture of my son's love for his bride. And so now we go all the way back to the beginning and understand that God made a helper comparable to Adam. I don't even know if we're going to have time to get into gender roles. There might have to be like a Genesis 2:18 part 2 tomorrow. And on that note, I think that's what we're going to do, because I just want to dive deep on this, guys. This is like super important stuff. And so God made Eve to be a helper comparable to Adam. And all that is packed full of information that we as men and women in Christ need to understand. So stay tuned for tomorrow, where we'll start to explain and look at what does that look like? What does that mean? How does that apply to the church? So, I've never left you on a cliffhanger like this before. Tune in next time. Same Daily Bread time, same Daily Bread channel to see how it ends.